discuss about Drug Regulatory Authority, DRA, as per your syllabus. Drug Regulatory Authority, DRA, Drug Regulatory Authority. Okay. Now, what is DRA? DRA is a government organization. It is a government organization responsible for preparation of the rules, regulation, guidelines for the development of the new drugs, to provide license for a particular drug, for manufacturing and marketing, as well as for registration of this drug in the government, under government. So that is known as the DRA, Drug Regulatory Authority. I repeat it. So Drug Regulatory Authority is a government organization responsible for formulation of effective drug regulation guidelines and rules for manufacturing new drugs, for licensing the new drugs, and for registration of the new drugs. Besides this, it also ensures the safety of the drug, the efficacy of the drug, the quality of this drug, the accuracy of this drug, and the appropriateness of the drug. As for example, in COVID-19, you know that hydroxychloroquine. This DRA also proposed that it is not solely responsible drug to challenge the COVID-19, but it has some efficacy to challenge it. It has some efficacy to challenge it. It is safe drug, but the individual who are suffering from diabetes, who are suffering from cardiovascular disease, etc., should not use this drug without guidance or advice of the physician. So the Drug Regulatory Authority also covered the safety profile of this drug. That is a safe drug or it has some limitation. Okay, what are the antidotes? If it results some toxicity, what are the antidotes of this drug? So safety profile. It also focused the efficacy of this drug. As for hydroxychloroquine is effective for autoimmune disease like rheumatoid arthritis, you know. But at present it is also used to challenge to some extent the COVID. So what is the efficacy of this drug? What is the quality of this drug? What is the accuracy of this drug? What is the appropriateness? That means what? Pathological conditions are very much appropriate for application of this drug. And for example, we have already mentioned that hydroxychloroquine is not appropriate for the individuals who are suffering from diabetes, who are suffering from cardiovascular disease, cardiac arrhythmia, etc. So all these are functions, all these functions are covered by the DRA, that is the Drug Regulatory Authority, DRA. Okay. Now, what are the different hierarchy of the Drug Regulatory Authority, DRA? What are the different hierarchy from upper hierarchy to the lower? At the top of this Drug Regulatory Authority, at the top, that is the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Under that ministry, the next hierarchy, that is known as NRA, National Regulatory Authority. National Regulatory Authority, NRA of India. So under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, for this Drug Regulatory Authority, the next hierarchy is NRA, that is the National Regulatory Authority. This NRA control, that is the next hierarchy, that is known as C, there is the DGHS, DGHS. Okay. Now, what is that DGHS? Now, that is the Director General of Health Services. Director General of Health Services. Director General of Health Services. This DGHS control the next hierarchy, that the CDSCO. CDSCO. What is CDSCO? Standard Control Organization. CDSCO. And this CDSCO actually directed by DCGI. DCGI, that is the Drugs Control General of India. Drugs Control General of India. Drugs Controller General of India. DCGI. Okay. So write down this abbreviation. NRA, there is the National Regulatory Authority. This NRA control the DGHS. DGHS. That the Director General of Health Services. You know that in COVID-19, for personal protective equipment, what are the quality that should be provided, what are the masks that should be the quality, all are under DGHS. DGHS, Director General of Health Services. This DGHS control the CDSCO. What is CDSCO? CDSCO, that the Central Drugs Standard Control Organization. Central Drugs Standard Control Organization. And this CDSCO is directed by DCGI. What is DCGI? That is the Drugs Controller General of India. Drugs Controller General of India. And this DCGI is an official of CDSCO, which is the final regulatory authority for approval of the clinical trials of the drug development. So when you like to conduct the clinical trials for drug development, like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, the clearance certificate should be obtained from DCGI, that the direct Drugs Controller General of India. And this DCGI actually control this office, CDSCO. That CDSCO, that's the Central Drug Standard Control Organization. Okay. Now this CDSCO in our India, this CDSCO is compared to the other drug control authority of other countries. As for example, in European country, this authority, Drug Control Regulatory Authority, is European Medicine Agency, EMA. So what is the Drug Regulatory Authority in European country? That is the European Medicine Agency, EMA. What is the Drug Regulatory Authority in case of USA, in United States of America? That authority is known as FDA, that is the Food and Drug Administration. When a new drug is developed in USA, it should be licensed, it should be registered, it should be approved from FDA, that is the Food and Drug Administration. In India, this new drug should be registered, should be licensed, should be approved from there is the DRA, Drug Regulatory Authority, under DCGI. But in America, that authority is known as FDA, that is the Food and Drug Administration. Okay? In the case of Australia, what is the name of this authority? This authority is known as Therapeutic Good Administration. Therapeutic Good, TWD, good, that means the substance. Therapeutic Good Administration, that is the TGA, Therapeutic Good Administration. What is the Drug Regulatory Authority in case of UK? It is known as MHRA, that is the Medicine and Healthcare Product. M for medicine, H for healthcare product, R for regulatory, A for agency, MHRA, Medicine and Health Care Products Regulatory Agency. So, in different countries throughout the world, there is specific authority for formulating the rules, regulation, guidelines for new drug development, for provide license for the manufacturing of the new drug, to provide registration number to the new drug, etc., etc. And this authority in our country is known as Drug Regulatory Authority, DRA, which is under the direct supervision of DCGI, and this is mainly looked after by CDSCO. But in European country, it is known as European Medicine Agency, EMA. In case of United States of America, it is known as Food and Drug Administration, FDA. In case of UK, it is known as MHRA, that is the Medicine and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency. In case of Australia, it is known as Therapeutic Good Administration, or TGA. So these are the different authority. These are the different hierarchy of the DRA. Okay. The next one, that what are the rules? What are the rules executed by DCGI, that the Drug Controller General of India? Drug Controller General of India. Okay. Now, this Drug Control General of India provide or approve the license of different drugs, new drugs, established drugs, which are cleared by clinical trials. It also provides the different blood products, which are also used as a medicine, because you know plasma therapy, where the plasma is a part of the blood used as a medicine. Platelet therapy, where the platelet is a fraction of the blood, which is also used as a medicine. So blood products, when these are used as medicine, that should be approved, that should be clear, that should be licensed from DCGI. Next one, intravenous fluids. Define intravenous fluids like monomeric fluids or intravenous fluids, which are used for healthcare purpose of the critically ill patient. It should be approved, it should be licensed, it should be cleared from this DCGI. Okay. Different vaccines. As for example, in COVID-19 vaccine, suppose if the vaccine is prepared against COVID-19, it should not be used after manufacture, after discovery. It should not be used. It should be cleared through clinical trials. It should be approved by DCGI in India, and then it will be marketed. So there are so many steps. So the vaccines, after the discovery of the vaccines, it should be clinically trial under the direction of DCGI. It should be checked regarding its efficacy, regarding its safety. Okay, what are the conditions applicable for these vaccines, etc. So all these, like not only the new drugs, but also the blood products, which are also used as medicine, different intravenous fluids, which are also used as a medicine or healthcare purpose, different vaccines, which are also used to prevent the different diseases, Okay, these are all under DCGI. So DCGI actually control the standards for manufacturing, standards. That means the levels, that means the quality for manufacturing the drug, for selling the drug, for import the drug, what drug would be imported from other countries? What would be its quality? What would be the criteria? So for importing of the drugs from other countries. From the distribution of the drug, as for what purpose the drug would be distributed to different health centers. What are the conditions where the drug would be administered, etc., etc. That should be cleared, that should be approved by DCGI. So all these functions are covered by DCGI. So DCGI sets the standards for manufacturing of the drugs, for conduction of clinical research, for developing new drugs, for the selling of the drug, for importing the new drugs from other country, for distribution of the drug in the country, as well as for exporting the drugs to other countries. That should be approved by DCGI. As for example, you know that few days ago, the hydroxychloroquine has been exported to USA, or 1 or 2 days before, you know it. And that should be approved by DCGI. Okay? So importing of the drug, exporting of the drug, manufacturing of the drug, distribution of the drug, quality of the drug, selling permission of the drug of a pharmaceutical company, that should be approved by DCGI. So all these functions are under DCGI. Okay? Now, what are the specific functions? So these are all the general functions. What are the specific functions that should be guided by DCGI? What are the specific functions? Now, DCGI acting as appellate authority. Appellate authority, that means different application may be submitted to that authority. So appellate authority, you may appeal. Suppose physicians also applied a particular drug on your relatives for the treatment, and it also creates some health hazards. Then where you also apply against such victims, you also apply to DCGI. So this is acting as appellate authority. Appellate authority. In case of any dispute regarding the quality of the drug, because after treatment of this drug, the patient becomes fatal and expire. Though the condition of the patient was okay before that. That means there is some dispute, there is some question about the quality of this drug. So where you apply? This appellate authority is the DCGI. We also apply it. They also form a inquiry committee and look after it. And with proper searching, the decision will come. Okay. So DCGI acting in our country, DCGI acting as an appellate authority, meant that in case of any dispute regarding the quality of the drug. Okay, number one. Number two, it is responsible for approval of new drugs. Approval of new drugs. Approval of new devices used for patient. Devices, medical devices used for patient or used for diagnostic purpose, used for analysis of different biological samples. So all medical devices or medical instruments which are used in the healthcare organization, that should be approved by DCGI. Okay. So approval of new drugs, approval of medical devices, and it also gives the approval of clinical trials. I have already explained the phase 1 clinical trials, phase 2 clinical trials, phase 3 clinical trials. That should be approved by DCGI. Okay? And phase 2 and phase 3 should be conducted under direct supervision of DCGI. Because at the time, principal investigator is unable to know where the trials is going on, in which institute or in which hospital or in which medical college this trial is going on. So this is under direct supervision of DCGI. So DCGI is responsible for approval of new drugs, for approval of medical devices, and clinical trial, for conduction of clinical trials in India in connection with developing a new drug, as well as for manufacturing of this drug in commercial manner. Next one, it also provides a guideline for preparation and maintenance of national reference standard. This standard value is also different from one country to other country. WHO gives the international reference standard, but national reference standard in India, in our country, the national reference standard, that means which dose of this drug is applicable for this patient, for adult, for infant, for pregnant mother. So these are all the reference standards. So these national reference standards are prepared, maintained by DCGI. through their research work under the guidance of ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research. Okay. Number 4, it brings about the uniformity, same level, uniformity in the enforcement of the Drug and Cosmetics Act. Drug and Cosmetic Act, mind that, Drug and Cosmetic Act, which has been implemented in 1940. So Drug and Cosmetic Act, which was implemented in 1940. This act is working uniformly throughout the country. It is also looked after by DCGI. Okay. Next one, DCGI also control the training program for drug analysis. Drug analysis. So training of drug analyst. Who analyzes the drug? The drug analyst. So DCGI organize the different training program of drug analysts, which are deputed by different states, like West Bengal, like Bihar, like Odisha, etc. So deputed by different states through state drug control laboratories. State drug control laboratories. So different states depute the drug analyst for their training program centrally. And this training program, what would be the matter of this training program? What would be the level of the training program? What would be the upgradation of the training program? All are under control of the CGI. Okay? And as a result, not only Drug Regulatory Authority of India is developed, but also state drug control laboratories. State drug control laboratories are also improved. Their qualities are also upgraded. Next function, analysis of cosmetics received as survey samples from CDSU. That means whether any cosmetics give any undesirable effect or unhealthy effects, that should be looked after by DCGI under CDSU. Next one, that Medical Device Rules 2017, Medical Device Rule 2017, Government of India. It is also looked after by DCGI. And DCGI also acting as Central Licensing Authority, CLA, Central Licensing Authority for Medical Devices, as per Medical Devices Rules 2017, just 3 years before. So DCGI also acting as Central Licensing Authority for Medical Devices. And there are 4 categories of medical devices, like classes C and D, A, B, C, D. C and D classes of medical devices, that means which devices are very much sophisticated. These devices are under direct licensing of DCGI. So the category of medical devices, category C and category D, okay, these are under direct licensing of DCGI. But the other 2 categories, there is the medical devices under category A, category B, these devices are not directly under licensing of DCGI, though this is approved by DCGI, but these are actually first approved by state drug controllers, which acting as SLA, that is the State Licensing Authority. So DCGI is the Central Licensing Authority, CLA, and State Drug Controller acting as State Licensing Authority, SLA. So for the level of A and B of medical devices, these are licensed licensing by SLA, that is the State Licensing Authority, and this is also approved by the CGI. Okay. There are 4 zonal office of CDSCO in our country. There are 4 zonal office of CDSCO in our country. One is Mumbai, another one is Kolkata, another one is Chennai, another one is Ghaziabad. So there are 4 zonal office of CDSCO. One is Mumbai, one is Kolkata, another is Chennai, another is Ghaziabad. Okay. Now, last point that we like to cover, that is Indian regulation and guidelines of Drug Regulatory Authority of India. Okay. That is NPPA, National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority. NPPA, National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority. These are all under that is CDSCO. So NPPA, National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority, they actually look after the price of a particular medicine in our country. So they actually fix the price of a particular drug. Okay, and this is known as National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority, NPPA. Okay, Government of India. There is a Price Control Order 1995 enforced by NPPA. These rules have been approved in 1995. That NPPA is our national authority which also will act under CDSCO for fixing the price of a particular drug in our country. Now another one is known as the Drug and Cosmetic Act 1940, DC Act, DNC Act, Drug and Cosmetic Act 1940. They also regulate the import, manufacturing, distribution, sale, and quality of the drugs and cosmetics which are manufactured in our country or which are also imported from other countries. So these are known as DC Act 1940. Now, what is Schedule M? There are so many schedules. Schedule M. Schedule M of the Drug and Cosmetic Act specify 10 minutes. Specify the requirement for factory premises. What is the area of the factory? What is the materials that should be used for manufacturing the medicine or for manufacturing the drug? What are the equipments that should be used by the industry for the preparation of this drug? These are all under Schedule M. What is Schedule T? What is Schedule T? If the question is coming, what is Schedule Y, Schedule T, Schedule M? What is the Schedule T? The Schedule T actually gives the specification for the manufacturing of Ayurvedic, Siddha, and Unani medicine. So, Schedule T, capital T, Schedule T is responsible for providing specification for manufacturing Ayurvedic drug, Siddha, and Unani medicines. Okay. What is Schedule Y? The Schedule Y covers the clinical trials. Clinical trials. Phase 1 clinical trials, Phase 2 clinical trials, Phase 3 clinical trials. What would be the guidelines? What would be the steps that should be adopted for conducting the different stages of clinical trials? What would be the composition of the boards for conducting these clinical trials, etc., etc. These are all under Schedule Y. What is GCP guideline? What is GCP? Now, the GCP, that is the good cultural practice. So, in the pharmaceutical industry, what would be the GCP? What would be the guidelines for good cultural practice? That is framed by DCGI. And generally, this GCP, the good cultural practice, is based on Declaration of Helsinki, WHO guidelines, as well as ICH requirements. So good clinical practice that is based on Declaration of Helsinki and WHO guidelines. Now, what is Pharmacy Act 1948? Pharmacy Act. Now, this is implemented for regulation of the formulation of guidelines of the pharmacy in India. The profession of pharmacy. This is regulated. Profession of pharmacy is regulated in India by the Pharmacy Act 1948. The Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substance Act 1985. Last act, the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substance Act 1985. This act is concerned with control and regulation of operation relating to the narcotic drugs and the psychotropic substances which are used for the treatment of the patient. So these are the several acts like the Drug and Cosmetic Acts, the Narcotic Drug and Psychotropic Substance Act 1985, the Pharmacy Act 1948, what is GCP guideline, that is the good clinical practice. Next one, what is Schedule M, which is Schedule T and Schedule Y. Okay, so this is all about the Drug Regulatory Authority of India, DRA, under the direct supervision of DCGI. Okay, so this is all about DRA. Have you any question? Please ask. Have you any
reference standard value?
If a national reference standard value. National reference standard value, that means what would be the dose of this drug for this adult individual, for the pediatric individual, pediatric children, pediatric cases, for the pregnant mother, for the geriatric person. Okay, what would be the temperature where the drug would be preserved, whether light sensitive or not, all are assessed by that CDSCO under DCGI. Okay.
Sir, বিভিন্ন countryতে বিভিন্ন difference হয় কেন standard value টা?
Okay, different standard value also differ from one to other. Huh?
স্যার ড্রাগ যখন একটা রেজিস্টার হয় ওটা কি কোনো একটা ফার্মাসিউটিক্যাল কোম্পানির নামে না কোনো ব্যক্তির নামে রেজিস্টার করতে হবে?
না, যখন drug registration, the manufacturing company that will manufacture it and the license is given to manufacture it for a particular period, for 10 years or for 15 years, the drug would be manufactured by that industry. Okay.
Sir,
for that period, this drug could not be prepared by other company. Okay.
Sir,
if they change their composition, okay, same type of drug, you also know that same type of generic name is same, but the commercial name is different. If একটা drug এই কোম্পানি পাওয়া যাচ্ছে না, তখন অন্য নামে অন্য কোম্পানি পাওয়া যায়, নামটা চেঞ্জ করতে হবে, লাইসেন্স দেওয়া হবে একটা পার্টিকুলার নামে, একটা ম্যানুফ্যাকচারিং। ঠিক আছে?
স্যার কম্পোজিশন একই থাকবে?
না, কম্পোজিশন শুড বি চেঞ্জ। যেমন ধরো ওখানে হয়তো প্রিজারভেটিভ সামান্য হেরফের হবে, তারপরে যে অ্যাক্টিভ ইনগ্রেডিয়েন্ট সামান্য একটু হেরফের হতে পারে। ঠিক আছে? হ্যাঁ, অ্যাক্সেসরি ইনগ্রেডিয়েন্টস গুলো, অ্যাক্সেসরি ইনগ্রেডিয়েন্টস, কালার কম্পোনেন্ট, টেস্টিং কম্পোনেন্ট, ফ্লেভার কম্পোনেন্ট, তারপরে তোমার হচ্ছে স্টেবিলাইজিং কম্পোনেন্ট, হ্যাঁ, দ্যাট শুড বি ডিফার ফ্রম ওয়ান অ্যানাদার। Though the active ingredient level will not differ drastically. Active ingredient level not differ drastically. তাই জন্য দেখবে একটা ড্রাগ না পেলে অন্য কোম্পানি দেয়, অ্যাক্টিভ ইনগ্রেডিয়েন্ট একই আছে, কেমন? কিন্তু accessory ingredient, secondary ingredients, that is a flavoring component, flavor, taste component, And suppose you may say there is a stabilizing component, a thermostable component, all should be different from one another. ঠিক আছে?
স্যার এটাও কি এক ধরনের পেটেন্ট?
না, এটা patent. Patent is different. Patent is different because this is the drug is developed by others, so it is patented by that investigator, and then it is sold to a particular manufacturer. Okay, and that manufacturer or industry will take the permission to for commercial production. They approve it from the DCGI. Okay.
ঠিক আছে।
List